learning Rambam yesterday, I noticed something that addresses a question we had when we learned KORECH. So we asked about KORECH. So according to Rambam, Hillel's KORECH only had matzah and maror, not Pesach in it. Right? So which is why Rambam's in a little different thinking here. But if you're of the position, like the majority opinion, that in the sandwich he actually had the Pesach, we asked, why was it eaten at the end of the Seder?
The whole thing.
The whole thing would have been eaten at the end of the Seder. Because Pesach has to be the last thing. And the Mordechai asks that question. The question is not mine, it's a question that predates it. Now Rambam says, again, Rambam is not in the position that KORECH is with the maror, with the Pesach. Rambam is in the position that KORECH is only matzah and maror, even in temple times. But Rambam says like this. Here's how you do your Seder. Temple times. You have your matzah and maror, either together or separate. He actually says it's optional.
He followed the sages.
He says optional.
Optional, either way.
So he learns the even to mean you can do either way, right? Because the Gemara said the word even. Either way, choose either together or separate. And he says which bracha to make if you're doing together or separate. Then he says eat something of your Pesach offering. Make a bracha of the Pesach and eat something of your Pesach. Sorry, eat something of your Haggadah. Look at the actual wording because this will be helpful. Sorry, give me a second. So eat your Pesach, eat your matzah and maror in either together or separate, as you wish, he says. Then he says, eat the Haggadah offering, right? There's the Haggadah offering.
Yeah.
Right?
You have to fill yourself up.
1 second. Yeah. Then eat a little bit. Eat from your Haggadah offering. Then make a bracha on your Pesach offering and eat of your Pesach offering. And then go eat your meal and enjoy.
Oh.
Eat your meal and enjoy. Then at the end of your meal, eat at least the kazayas of your Pesach offering. That should be your last thing. So we can apply that to the sandwich also, where you would start at the beginning and then eat at the end. Although it's very questionable to do that. I don't know if it would work for it.
He's eating the Pesach twice. Why didn't he eat it together? With the maror and matzah.
So he's not of the opinion it's part of the sandwich. He's of the opinion that the sandwich.
But for other reasons, I thought maybe perhaps because you have to eat the Pesach.
I actually think
at the very end, but eating it before and after, then that. I
think it's linked because this is what the Rambam's saying. You have to make a bracha. You can't eat before you do your mitzvahs. Right now,
you mean the festival?
Yes. Just as a rule, you can't eat before you do mitzvahs. The first thing is the mitzvahs. So eat his Pesach, but the Rambam didn't say to eat a kazayas then.
No.
He says, eat of your Pesach. When it comes to the end, he says, eat at least a kazayas.
Okay, so you're saying they're linked because...
It's similar to the Alter Rebbe's position. And if you remember this, Alter Rebbe said that if a person only has maror, and he has to dip twice, so he should eat less than the kazayas at karpas.
You don't want to... You need the after bracha for after the maror.
So said Alter Rebbe, dip your maror into salt water at the beginning of your meal for karpas. Eat less than a kazayas, but you make the bracha ala chilas maror, and then eat the full maror of a kazayas later. And I'm saying to do a similar thing. Eat a little bit of Pesach at the beginning, make your bracha on that. Thank you Hashem for the mitzvah of Pesach, and then eat the full kazayas at the end. Now, I think this is only true if you don't believe the Pesach is part of the sandwich. If the Pesach is part of the sandwich, you can't do this trick. Because what would you be doing? You'd be eating a full kazayas of matzah, full kazayas of maror,
and
then less than a kazayas of Pesach, and then save a full kazayas of Pesach later without matzah and maror. If you're of the opinion that in order to fulfill your Pesach offering, you have to eat matzah and maror with it, then you'd have to eat matzah and maror again later, which would mean you have to do two sandwiches: one at the beginning, less than a kazayas, and then one at the end with the kazayas.
Maybe that's why you separate.
Something a little off. That could be why the number separates to begin with. Matzah and maror is one thing sandwich, and Pesach is something else completely entirely. That could be why it does it. But otherwise, I would still maintain, if you're not like Rambam and you're the opinion that Pesach is part of matzah and maror, that the sandwich includes matzah Pesach as well, I would maintain that all that was eaten at the end of the meal. And as for the fact that you need to wash for your meal at the beginning of your meal, and you have to have 2 whole matzahs. So I'm going to say like this: he holds 2 whole matzahs, makes hamoitzi, right? Makes alachilas matzah, because alachilas matzah is a mitzvah independent of Pesach. Eats less than a kazayas.
Maybe it's independent of Pesach.
Matzah mitzvah is independent of Pesach. In the Torah separates it. Pesach says the Torah you have to eat it with matzah. But matzah Torah says you eat independently. Right? Maror only says it with Pesach. So here's what I would maintain.
Independently, you eat it by itself. Yeah.
Correct. So he holds 2 matzahs, whole matzahs, and maybe the half one also, because you have to fulfill the mitzvah of matzah with the half.
Yes.
Make a bracha out of this matzah. Make a bracha on moitzi. Make a bracha thanking Hashem for the mitzvah of matzah. Eat matzah. And then at the end of your meal, eat Pesach, matzah, and maror altogether. Because the mitzvah of matzah would
include the Pesach.
Right, because your Pesach requires matzah and maror, but your matzah doesn't require Pesach. So you can do matzah at the beginning of the meal and Pesach matzah more at the end of the meal. If you were following Hillel in the opinion like Rashbam that the sandwich included Pesach offering. That's what I would argue.
That would be.
But still subject
That would be before benching.
Yeah, last food you eat has to be the Pesach offering, which would be the matzah and maror together. Another option might be is he ate the sandwich at the beginning, Pesach, matzah, and maror, fulfilling the entire mitzvah of Pesach, and then at the end had a tiny drop of Pesach that should be the last flavor. But not fulfilling the mitzvah. No, Rambam is saying eat a kazayas at the end.
Oh, right now, right.
Which means you're fulfilling your mitzvah at the end. Even though you're tasting a little bit at the beginning because you're doing the bracha at the beginning. Like the maror being split in half in Al-Rebbe's position. Right? Again, this is I didn't have enough time to like really research and think about it, but this is if I'm going back into the KORECH files, I have to open this up again in my head. Maybe something I noticed yesterday.
The dust starts to accumulate very quickly.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, wonderful day.
Thank you.